This is a Silk exclusive.
Alrighty, welcome back. Did you miss me? If you did, don't worry about it. I'm still here. Alrighty, this is Words, Music, Dance, episode 6. And today I am joined with the homie, Danny, aka the Train Man. Choo choo. Welcome, brother.
What's up, my man?
Now this guy here is one of my biggest fans. So I'm glad to have him here because now he can be a fan of himself.
Word.
You know,
Word.
and it's a pleasure, man. You know, thanks for doing this.
Hey, man, I appreciate the call. You know, having me on. You know, been watching you from the jump.
Thank you.
You know, when you first told me you was gonna do this, I was, kind of like, yeah, like everybody says, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then,
right.
Oh, okay, he did it.
Really did it.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I want it.
Right. And I'm glad to have you here. Before we get started, move on. Shout out to social media for those that want to know you. Say hi.
You can find me on Instagram at _bearded_Mopar-man on IG.
There you go. All right. And as always, I am Paulie the Bull, which is Paulie_the_bull on Twitter, and on Instagram _1080p_. And this is a 2021 vision on all social media. All right. So check it out. Continue the conversation as always. And if you want to join in the same way Danny's here with me today, send me an email. All right, a 2021vision@outlook.com. Send me an email. We can schedule something. Get you on the show too. We can work it out. All right. Unfortunately, we kind of got to start on a somber note.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up right now.
Breaking news. It'll be old news by the time you see this, but breaking news as of recording. There was a suicide bomber or some terrorist act in Times Square,
Penn Station,
Port Authority. So, I don't have all the full details. A gentleman had a pipe bomb, and it went off prematurely.
Yeah, to say the least.
Premature explosion. It happens. I don't know about that, but so I hear. Premature explosion. So, just want to send out condolences to anybody who was injured. All the delays that it caused, because it was definitely, train issues all day. People commuting, going to work, getting home. Just wanted to say that. Anything you want to add to that?
Nah, just definitely prayers out to anybody affected by the tragedy of what happened. It's just a crazy world we live in now, where this is unfortunately becoming the norm. Kind of like mass shootings.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, unfortunately, you see the suspect's name out there and immediately gets thrown to terrorism. Mm-hmm. And then other situations, it's not. But, it is what it is, unfortunately. Right. It sucks to have that is what it is attitude, but it is what it is.
Correct. I mean, this is New York. We've been through this. Like I said, his attempt was failed by his own actions. They captured him. Hopefully it was just him.
According to some reports, they said it was poorly made.
Right.
He actually said he made it while he was at work. Mm-hmm. Which is, I guess now his whole job will be under investigation, which means everybody there is going to hate him.
Correct.
So, they haven't exactly said he claimed ties to any particular group, but they did say that, he said some stuff right off the bat when authorities came up. Mm-hmm. They just didn't say what he said. That it would be said at a later date. Got you.
So, as anything, the conversation continues on the show, and once we get more details, we will, follow up on it and stuff, as well. But number 45 has yet to tweet about it.
This is true.
Which is shocking.
It is. His last tweet came like 9 hours ago, so that makes that just about yesterday?
Yeah.
So yeah.
A little bit, yeah. So he hasn't spoke on it yet. Like I said, that's shocking because he's always tweeting.
Especially the man that came up with the whole, the terrorists must die and the whole Muslim ban and
right.
Can't
say
allow
what they are.
people into the country,
right.
this and that.
Right.
So he was real quiet today.
You would figure he would definitely jump on this opportunity.
Not to mention it's coming from his home state.
Yeah, right. He is a New Yorker.
The man is a native New Yorker.
That is true.
So, and for him not to come out and say anything.
Right. So, again, we'll be looking for that, I guess. He's gonna chime in at some point
Probably at 2 o'clock when everybody's sleeping.
Right, and then he'll get to say what he want to say, and it'll be too late for many people to reply and to have a rebuttal for. So yeah, so good old Donald, good old Don. Speaking of his tweets, though, any other ones stood out to you that?
The most recent one is probably from December 2nd.
Okay.
Which actually got a lot of public attention. It was actually on the cover of, I believe, the Daily News, where he basically came out and said, like, it's a shame that his attorney general was caught lying, and he seemed like he was real trustworthy and everything, and now he's in the same boat as crooked Hillary. And a lot of people came out and said that what he exactly tweeted was kind of like self-incriminating.
Right.
How could you come out and say that what your guy did was so heinous and everything, and then turn around and be like, oh, Hillary's got to go to jail, but meanwhile, everything was okay when he was on your side and lying for you.
Right.
Your people are out there taking a bullet for you. It's okay when they're taking a bullet, but once, the murder's completed, I ain't know him. I don't know what happened.
Right.
See, what happened was
he was just a hired gunman.
Right.
Again, kind of like the bombing situation and stuff. Have we become immune to it? Like, is it just his tweets, his actions, his words? Have we just been?
You know what it is? I honestly think that a lot of people have become numb to Donald Trump at this point. Mainly, probably before he was even officially elected. Because he was always somebody who was out there in the public eye trying to say, hey, it's me. Always out there tweeting something dumb. And that nobody really thought he was going to win. And then he does win. And now he's still acting like he's that guy that's coming on NBC at 4 in the afternoon or whatever for Celebrity Apprentice.
Right.
But instead of it being Celebrity Apprentice, dude, you're the president of the United States.
Yes.
It's time for you to start acting that way, and he just hasn't gotten that yet. And it's sad to say, I don't think he ever will.
Yeah, agreed.
He just won't. Unless it's 100% about him.
Well, to him, he's doing the best job of any president in the history of the United States. So, to him,
in some aspects, I guess you could say that makes sense. I mean, okay, yes, the stock market is up.
Right.
People are making money on their investments, this and that. But also, the national debt hasn't dropped. The swamp hasn't been drained.
Right.
If anything, he's put more bodies into it. What else? Just the other day, I remember hearing about a couple of days to maybe a couple of weeks from the government having a possible shutdown.
Right.
So if we're doing so great under his, administration, why are we talking about a government shutdown?
Right.
When we even had one earlier this year, a couple of months into his tenure.
I mean, it has happened before with other presidents.
Oh, I'm not saying it hasn't. Yeah. I'm not going to put, soul pressure on Trump to be like, oh, it's his fault that the government...
Right, no, I got you.
But if you're going to come out here, your whole campaign was, oh, I'm not going to go golfing 78 trips later.
Which is amazing.
Millions of taxpayers' dollars later.
Right, because now it's not your private jet. You're flying Air Force One.
Right.
Which we pay for.
Exactly.
So it's one thing when you're spending your jet fuel, that's fine. When we're paying for your trip, it's a problem.
Right.
It's a problem.
And then, you first come in office and the family's like, well, we're going to stay in New York because we don't like Washington or, or use some other excuse or whatever.
Right.
And then you got to split Secret Service and all the kinds of security agencies and spend more money that way because now we got to worry about protecting Trump Tower in New York.
Which they're still protecting. She moved out and they're still there. Right. Because they got to protect the house.
Exactly.
Whenever they do come home. So
right, exactly.
It's
that's always been standing. They've done that with every other president also.
Most other presidents didn't live on Fifth Avenue.
Right.
In the middle of shopping.
Me getting to work on time?
Well, yeah, that too. I actually take that route when I hit the bus to work. I actually take that route, and it's annoying when they have barricades and guards and and there's like 2 lanes shut down because there's barricades for news reporters and things like that, and and cars and things are trying to get to work.
Right.
And they're not even there. It's just because the house is always under protection just to make sure nobody else gets in there.
Because you never know.
Right. So that's guaranteed to be an issue for the next 3 years, and months later.
Or in his eyes, the next 8.
Right. If he wins again,
man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's.
If all those people that said they were going to leave the country if he became president didn't, I think they will the second time around.
Do you actually know anybody that left?
No.
Exactly.
Nobody left.
That's a funny thing because I know a lot of people that threatened it, but going back to what you said earlier, nobody really thought he was going to win.
Right.
So it was a joking bluff.
Right.
Man, if he wins, I'm leaving, and I don't think nobody really meant to.
And then you want to be like, right. When you leaving?
Yeah, no.
And it became one of those things where, like, see, what really had happened was what I was trying to say was,
right. So it's fun. It's hilarious. Like I was thinking about that. It was like nobody had no left.
Nobody.
And I mean, it's bad. The United States now is split in half, and I don't want to say it's evenly split, but it's like, his supporters see no wrong.
No, they don't.
At all. And it's like,
And it's funny too because a lot of what he's doing is affecting a lot of his constituents.
Yes.
A lot, like this whole new tax plan.
Yeah.
That conveniently he happened to sneak in the same day his homie got arrested, got found guilty.
Diversion. Classic misdirection.
So everybody was out there watching this dude go on trial, 2 in the morning, and the only reason I knew it passed myself personally was because I had to get up early the next day, and I saw it on the news. I'm like, this motherfucker here.
Yeah, I mean, he does a lot of that. I mean, to me, I feel like a lot of his tweets are diversions.
Right.
I know a lot of people that pay attention to everything he tweets, everything he says. And
well, it ain't no lie that there's always going to be that game of misdirection when it comes to government.
Yeah.
They're always going to say one thing and mean another thing.
Correct.
Like, oh, yo, go meet me on Fifth Avenue. Meanwhile, they're really going up Broadway or whatever to go do what they're going to do.
Right.
But I think with him, because of the fact that he's always doing what he feels he's got to do to have the attention on him, that what he says something, people are going to take it verbatim. It's good, like, oh, he means what he's gonna say. Oh, he says he's gonna nuke North Korea. Oh, we're going to war. World War III is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, is he doing a lot of talking with a crazy man that has a possibility of launching a nuke? Yes. Is it gonna happen? We pray not, but there's still that possibility.
Yeah. I mean, Kim Jong Un has tested the weapons. I think they've said there's one that could hit California or something like that.
Well, the last one I remember was supposedly they launched one, and I think it went just past Japan. Just from North Korea to like the Japanese Sea is somewhere over there. Toward aimed like towards California direction.
Right.
So, and they said at that time, which I think was like 2 weeks ago or something, I heard about this. That at that time that was the furthest they've ever tested one.
Right. Okay. So I did hear something like that too.
So now it's like, all right, it's getting real. What are we gonna do?
Right. I mean, speaking of California, they have enough problems right now with all these fires. Which I find funny that number 45, Mr. Make America Great Again. Although people will be out there quick to say, oh well, you can't depend on government for everything, but you have thousands of people. Yeah. People that are fuck the fact that they're registered voters. They're Americans. If your whole mainstay is make America great again, do what you got to do to make sure that these Americans are taken care of. That's true.
Look how you dropped the ball with the hurricane in Texas.
Right. Texas, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, like that's America too.
That's all American territory, which a lot of people, which
he was unaware of. I don't know if they.
But you know what? He took care of that because he spoke with the president of the Virgin Islands. He had a conversation.
But he was unaware that. Yes, he did.
Because
you're the president.
Right. But at the same token, let me shoot these paper towels like I'm Steve Curry real quick.
His jump shot looked pretty good though.
I'm not gonna lie, it did.
The form looked pretty good.
No, it did.
The form looked pretty good.
But if he spent more time in the gym, he might, look a little better. He wouldn't be looking like a puffed up Cheeto.
Less golf, more jump shots?
More jump shots.
There might be
more jump shots, Instead of looking like one of the puffy Cheetos, he looked like one of the crunchy Cheetos.
So less golf, more jump shots.
Right.
Trump might be able to, he might be able to pull that off and help the Wizards out. You know.
Right? Maybe everybody want to be like Mike.
Right.
Everybody want to be like Mike.
So where do we see? I mean, this is just year one of the Trump regime, and we've had an uprising of aggression.
Tiki torch carrying neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
And as much as it pains me, because hence my IG name, Mopar, there was a Dodge Challenger that was driven into a crowd of people.
And ran to people over, mowed people over.
And for Trump to go up there on TV and be like there were rights and wrongs on both sides after something like that, you've dropped the ball as the President of the United States.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, here on home soil, you should keep the peace. You know? You may pop off at the mouth behind closed doors when cameras ain't there and fake news.
Right.
But when you're on TV and you're talking about something of that magnitude, something such as Charlottesville,
right,
you gotta be about making America great again. You gotta, put on the Uncle Sam hat, stand there with Old Glory and talk about how now we need to come together.
Right.
We need to be one people. We need to show everybody else around the world how strong and united we are. Because that's something that America's always promoting. Because there's always been something about, we have a lot of things that make us great, better than other countries around the world. But if you go to places like London, Germany, Switzerland, there are places out there that they have democratic governments.
Yep.
They have elections, and they follow constitutions and stuff like that. We're not the only ones that do that.
Right.
We might have been the first ones to do it back in the day, but it's no longer like that.
Right.
So, although, yes, America is still a great place to live, there are people dying to get here every day for what we have, but that's also because we've basically put that on the billboard in the middle of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans that say...
Shout out to the Statue of Liberty.
Exactly. By the way, shout out to the French. Thanks for the gift. We love it. We've always put that poster out there that, hey, America's great. Give us your hungry, your tired, your poor, your huddled masses.
Right.
So, hey, I'm hungry. I'm a huddled mass. Let me go over here, see what they got to offer. And we've always helped those people out. And unfortunately, I'm not saying it's bad to help out those less fortunate, but sometimes that comes back to bite you.
Right.
And it's gotten to a point now where there's a lot of people out there that feel that people are coming here from another country just looking for a handout. But the flip side to that is, you look at the demographic of people who are out there in the workforce. I mean, like the real, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. grudging workforce that are working 12, 18-hour days. And those are all people that came from around the world looking for better, and they're scrimping and they're saving. And yes, they are sending American dollars home to try to build a better life there, but they're also building a life here. They're working for citizenship here. People are acting like they're coming to this country not looking to become American citizens. Like they're just looking to milk America. It's not that easy to become an American citizen. I know people that have been waiting 10, 15 years to become American citizens. There's a long list of that. There's tests you got to take, there's background checks you got to go through. They got to contact other embassies, get information from you from back home, and that's all got to clear. Then you can take your test, and then you get your citizenship, and then even when you're officially declared a citizenship, that takes like another process. People don't realize that. There's a long vetting process. So
he wants to make it harder.
And he's definitely looking to make it harder.
Yeah, he wants to make it harder.
And by him turning back DACA, which is something that was, let me not say unprecedented, but in a way it was. It was to me, it was one of the crowning jewels of Obama's administration for him to do that. And it just seems like everything that Obama did, DACA, the Affordable Care Act, even though you want to call it Obamacare, it's really called the Affordable Care Act. And
depended on his name.
You want to do everything that Obama put out to the people and was trying to build a legacy on and show, truly make America great. You're looking to shit on. Like, oh, Obama did that? Nah, I got to overturn that.
And it was like he really had, that was one of his main things, attack certain policies that were created within the last 8 years. And that was one of them. He was like, specifically, I want to change that. Because even with, the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare, he got in and he realized it wasn't as bad as I guess he was told it was.
Right.
He just wants to change it enough to make it something else.
Because I guess he realized that once he had his cronies look into what the Affordable Health Care Act is.
Because obviously he doesn't use it.
Right.
So he didn't know what it was.
Neither does anybody else in Congress.
Right.
So once it came down to the meat and potatoes of everything, they were just looking to put something out there because he said he was going to repeal it.
Right.
He said, day one, repeal and replace.
Right.
So they just kept throwing things out there. And when other people that were coming up to vote on it in the House and the Senate or whatnot, they all found like, yeah, but what about the person that makes $30,000 a year,
right.
$50,000 a year, you know, $10,000 a year?
I remember that their first issue was what were they considering to be, what was it, a recurring illness or existing illnesses?
Because like I looked up some of the pre-existing things, and if I didn't have a job that provided me Medicare, medical, I would be screwed.
Yes.
Because I have what's qualified as under Trump's administration's eyes as a pre-existing illness.
Right.
So basically, I'm just going to be told, okay, well, you could just sit there and die.
Right.
So basically, that's how you're going to make America great by everybody's going to just keel over and die, and whoever's left standing will be like, okay, now we can rebuild.
Yeah, gotta love it.
Yeah, it's the American dream. I know.
I mean, that's the Trump dream now. That's his plan for the world. I mean, he it's kind of like he wants to isolate America from the world. You know, he wants to get rid of trade. He's been saying he wants to bring back, you know, our manufacturing industry because China, is producing too much. He wants us to be able to create and
you know what? I agree with that. I've said that for years. There's a reason why Pittsburgh is known as Steel Town, USA.
Pittsburgh, Detroit.
Detroit's a perfect example of trying to make America great again. Detroit is the home of the American automobile. You have the three major brands there: GM, Chrysler, and Ford. Detroit itself is hurting.
It's bankrupt.
It's bankrupt. It's destroyed. They're drinking brown water.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. It's like, oh well, you know what? There are a bunch of brown people there, so they can deal with the brown water.
Right.
Which
by the way, Flint's water is still messed up.
Yes, it is.
And it's been about 2 years now.
At least
going on 2 years. And their water system is still screwed up.
Right.
That's a whole other thing. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, and it's just sad that there are a lot of things we can do to make America great again and rebuild our own product, and which at the same time would bring the national debt down.
Yeah. I mean, he said he wants to bring back our manufacturing industry. I haven't seen him do anything for it.
No. His big thing during his campaign was, I'm going to bring back coal. Coal's going to mean something.
Right.
Just the other day, I saw a news report. They're hurting. It's like to the point where there are going to be no coal jobs left within like the next few years.
Right. So it's like a lot of his first year has been about repealing things that Obama had created,
right?
Instead of focusing on other stuff he said, where like bringing back our manufacturing industry,
right?
Making it great, just doing things to greaten our country. It's
sad that a man's motto was to make America great again, and all he's done so far as to make it great is nothing. And
he's golfed.
And we see how well that worked out for Tiger Woods.
Ooh. Well, I mean, depending on how you look at it, he got a lot of girls. He got a lot of girls from golfing, so
back to a previous episode, that problematic, right? Insert cat noise.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know. Well, was he the problem or were they the problem? Food for thought. Who was the problem in that situation? I mean, we know he was married with children, so definitely he was the problem to this marriage, but the porn star that leaked the voicemail he left was a problem for him.
Oh, yeah.
But he left the voicemail, said his name on it.
Yeah.
So that's, which I don't condone cheating. But
you never leave your never leave your name in the voice.
You know, that's kind of common sense.
Be like, yo, what's going on? Yeah, we still doing that thing?
Yeah.
All right, hit me back.
No, he says, hey, this is Tiger. Like, there's a lot of men named Tiger in the world. So, you know, yeah, so the problem was kind of, you know, him more than anything. But if you want to take part in a recording of Words Music Dance, send me an email at a 2021vision@outlook.com. Put guest in the subject line and we can work out a schedule. Also, if you want to continue the conversation for any episode of Words Music Dance, hit us up at a 2021vision across all social media. Now back to the show. Do we think Trump is going to speak on the bombing incident at the Port Authority?
Probably when there's more information to come through. I mean, they've already...
You think he's going to wait for facts?
Well, I mean, you know...
What?
For a man that claims all media sources are fake news, I mean, I think he might just wait for it to come from through FBI sources, if you can even trust those anymore.
Right.
But, who knows? We'll see what happens. You know, it would be... I think it would behoove him to say something.
Right. Which, like I said, last I checked, he still hasn't. I mean, I don't know if he has a summit or something going on. I don't know if he's busy.
He might be grabbing some pussy.
Hey, you know, is it legal for us to do that yet? Since he does it?
I don't know.
Well, then again, no, because everybody's getting cracked down on. They've been coming down on a lot of.
You know, all them Harvey Weinstein guys are being brought out into the light right now.
Funny thing is, that was the first topic we spoke on this show, very first episode. And so 6 weeks ago, it was kind of where it started, and it hasn't stopped. It's been like a new name, a new person.
My whole thing with the sex scandal thing is that if this has been going on for so long, why not say something immediately? Now, I understand a lot of times women are afraid to say anything at all because they're not going to be believed. All right, granted. But do you really think it's going to make it better if you wait 5, 6 months, a year, 10 years, 15 years?
20, 30 for some kids.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, look at the whole Cosby situation. Now, my man Cosby hasn't made a TV special or nothing.
Right.
And he did his thing back in the day. Said, you know what? All right, I'm about the public eye. A lot of us were raised by Bill Cosby.
Absolutely.
With the Jello pudding pops and the Kodak cameras and the Coogee sweaters.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We all grew up on that.
That is true.
The man was a black man, had a black wife, black family, lived in a brownstone, Brooklyn, New York. Man was a doctor.
They were both successful.
Wife was a lawyer. Huge role models
for
the black community.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let me not just say the black community, because you know what? For any community.
True. Very true. Very true.
Father's a doctor, mother's a lawyer. Ain't no reason why those kids should not have a brain in their head.
Right.
Every show, those kids learned a new lesson, which in turn means we learned a new lesson.
Yeah.
So, man leaves a legacy of education and being proud and being successful. So what do? You go back and shit on it 30 years later. Why? Take his show off the air, make the man out to be a villain.
So from what I was given was we have to separate Bill Cosby from Cliff Huxtable. That's what everybody has told me. We have to separate the two. Cliff Huxtable was the role model. You know, Bill Cosby had a past that we were unaware of. And even he, you know, his stand-up, he was hard on, you know, rap music and the hip-hop community.
Yes, he was.
He was hard on, you know, a lot of, coming from Philadelphia, he was hard on, you know, Philadelphia community and stuff. However, it was kind of contradictory because, and a lot of it is alleged, as of yet, he has not been found guilty of anything. Some people say because he's paid off or settlements, what have you. But, you know, the fact of the matter is he has not been found guilty of any of things.
Right.
A lot of people in public opinion...
Right, but also the damage is done at this point.
Right, I was going to say, because in the court of public opinion, we are all the jury. We're the judge. And These people say guilty, these people say innocent, whatever. Those people will stay saying guilty. And his show was removed at one point. They have put it back on, I think. But like you said, the damage is done. So we do not know if one of those females is telling the truth, 2, 3, 4, all what have you. We don't know. We do not know. It's tainted him, period. And it can't change Cliff Huxtable, which was created by Bill Cosby.
Correct.
So it always goes back to, was it a front, or was it at least just good teachings? You know, our teachers in school may not have known everything they were teaching us. They had a syllabus, they had a book, they had, but they were teaching still.
Right.
Martin Luther King is known as a great man through history, but he has also had infidelity in his marriage, allegedly. So how much of it do we discredit? You know, should it take away? And again, it goes back to a lot of people, and we had the conversation before as well, with R. Kelly and so forth, separating the art from the person. Do we just all his music, all Bill's movies and shows, do we get rid of it because of what he may or may not have done? You know, it's just a matter of,
I don't know if you could really say that we just get rid of all of everything he's done, because I would say a lot of what, like how Bill Cosby was and what lessons were from the Cosby Show, or even if you want to go through the R. Kelly route, a lot of, how he performed his music, how he did his shows, and that what he said in his music, a lot of that all shaped different generations and sprung out other things.
Yep.
If you take all that away, you're now condemning a whole generation that grew up and fought and emulated what they taught, what they got from those different, people.
Right.
Those different experiences. So I don't know if you could actually just say, let's just discredit that and start over.
But the flip side to that is people that say he's a bad man, he should no longer profit, from his doings. That's how people feel. They don't want to support or see him gain a profit from his business ventures, being that he's done or may have done some, heinous activities.
But yet Donald Trump was elected president of the United States.
And he's also polarized the country. So like I said, with Bill Cosby and stuff, in the court of public opinion, we are all judges. Some people say guilty, some people say innocent. It's the same thing with Trump. He just hasn't been impeached or, what have you.
That's the question too. Do you think he ever will be?
I think he's, and this is conspiracy theory me, I think he's doing what the powers that be want him to do.
I've said that too. I've said he's a puppet.
So, if they wanted him gone, he would have been gone. And not to get too far into conspiracies and all that stuff, but it's just like, if he was affecting the right people, something would be done. So right now, those with any, hand in it are fine.
Whoever's got their hand in the cookie jar, there's still plenty of cookies in that jar.
Right.
Until the cookies run out, he's gonna keep just skating over everything.
Exactly. To me, I feel like they have enough evidence to at least,
open a case.
Right.
Get
And even the Electoral College, we all know how voting is supposed to work. We vote for representatives from our states. The Electoral College can still overturn our vote.
Right.
And can go. So we don't know who the Electoral College is or what it is, truthfully. However, they could have voted opposite if they wanted to.
Right. So let me ask you this: a country that's based itself on by the people for the people. When the people basically came out and spoke and said, "All right, we want Hillary," and Hillary won the popular vote, by a huge landslide, but yet Trump still wins the presidency. What does that say for that moniker?
Exactly. And I've been saying that for the longest. To me, I feel like the election itself, the election process itself, is a big debauchery. Some people still believe in it, and I'm not here to change any thoughts or whatever. again, this show is about bringing it to conversation. I feel like if the election process was really about the people and for the people and wanted the people's opinion, election day would be a day off from work. Kids are out of school on election day. Because
usually schools are used as polling places.
And yet jobs still open.
Right.
So think about a lot of the family structures in America. There's a lot of single family homes. If the kids are out of school but I gotta go to work, I'm either taking a day off or having to get a babysitter or what have you. It's hard for me to be able to get to work and and the polls in that day.
Right.
To me, it seems like it's more of a hindrance. The polling every couple years they restructure districts.
Mm-hmm.
There's gerrymandering where they switch things around. They have different rules. We're still using old-fashioned mechanics to vote. So to me, I feel like if it really was something that they really wanted us to be a part of, better tactics would be implemented to make it for the people.
Mm.
So that's just how I look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Kids are out of school and parents are out to work and they have to now take the kid to a babysitter. So now, yes, the polls are open 6, 7 in the morning till 6, 7 at night, but depending on people's schedules, people that work in retail, people that work in different jobs, they don't always have a 9 to 5.
Not only that, if you're the type of person that, the only time you can go to vote is after work.
After work.
Now, you've already worked your 8, 9 hour shift, you're tired, or you had a bad day.
Exactly.
You just want to get this over with and go home. So
right.
You're not even paying attention. You're just pushing some buttons,
exactly.
Putting a check next to a name.
And it's more than just the president or governor or mayor. There's also, there's
local things on there too, right?
Right. So there's a lot of things that,
And a lot of that goes on look because people just like, all right, is it going to be Hillary or Trump? All right, I want this person, that's it and go.
And we've already saw what happens when old machinery and older people don't mix. Florida, 2000.
Right.
What was that, 2001?
No. That was, yeah.
It was 2001. When Bush,
Bush's first presidency,
right.
yeah.
So, hanging chads. Votes weren't pushed all the way in, so they're like, doesn't count. You see where they were clicking? Doesn't count. So this older technology mixed with so many other things, it's like, it seems, and again, I can't prove it, but it just seems to be.
Do you ever think that it'll get to a point where they're just like, you know what, let's put an app out for that? And people will just be able to do it from their phones?
I don't see why not.
Hop online on a computer?
If I can renew my license, if I can do a lot of other government things online, why not vote? The reason used to be, because people could hack and they can do that
regardless.
Yeah. Equifax just got hacked. So
you're right.
What is secure?
No, I don't think anything is
You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, if somebody's gonna take the time to sway a vote and they care that much, then hey, the people care that much. Right now, we're having a low turnout of votes. If we get an increasing amount of voter turnout, it might mean something. They said Russia hacked the last vote. How did they do that? We still haven't got a clear-cut answer to how Russia affected the election.
We still don't have a clear-cut answer of whether or not Trump was involved or not.
Right. We know there were emails sent back and forth between his son.
And if so, that's not only is that automatic impeachment for Trump, but that's automatic jail time too, because that's considered treason.
Right.
Because why should another country have anything to do with our legal system?
Right. And what did they do? You know what I'm saying? It's like how did they affect the election?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So again, that would make sense if it was digital. It's not. I think the counting machines are digital, which is why the Chads weren't counted in Florida because they weren't poked all the way in, so the machine wasn't counting it.
Okay.
Something like that. So
it doesn't count if it's just a tip.
Yeah, gotta go all in.
All the way.
But to affect that, so that means we're already digitally somehow involved, and then we're already there, already halfway there.
So if I get a C in school and I know I should have got a B, I can blame Russia?
Why not? Why not? You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if they really wanted everyone has a smartphone right now.
You're right. Do you think that would get more younger people to vote? Even though they've said that both Obama elections and this current election that the younger turnout has been larger than in previous elections?
Yeah.
But do you think bringing it to the smartphone would make it even bigger?
Absolutely. I think we'd have no reason not to. I believe that it would be, and again, you can take whatever precautionary needs you need to have a verification. Whatever. Make sure my child is not voting on this device. But we have it where the device, the IP address, whatever, can be, okay, this device is already voted, no more vote. Right. That ability is already there. The account, the email, whatever can be verified. We have that already. One vote per that. Social security number.
Your cell phone provider has all that.
Can do all of that. If I can pay my bill with my phone now, a credit card.
I can go to a vending machine and use my cell phone to get something from a vending machine.
Why are we not doing elections that way? That's why I say the election process is meant to steer people away. A lot of people didn't vote this year. There's been a higher youth turnout, but there's still been a lot of people. If you count the last census, a lot of people did not vote this last election, and it's because the polling districts move, and people don't think about it till the last minute. People think, oh yeah, Super Tuesday. Oh shit, it's Tuesday. I gotta go.
Not only that, how many polling places change at the last minute and don't let their constituents know?
Right, and it's some old person sitting there with a booklet saying, "What's your name again? How do you spell that?
Right.
I can't find you. Oh no, you gotta go. You live where? That zip code covers that side of the street. See, because I grew up in Manhattan, where Fifth Avenue itself is west and east. If you're on this side of the street, you're East Manhattan. This side of the street, you're west of Manhattan. Same zip code, but you gotta. It's like, so something like that would affect where you go to vote. And it's like, again, why are we not just doing it by borough? Why are we not doing it by state? Why are we not just like? I live in this state.
I should be able to go anywhere in New York and vote.
You know what I'm saying? I move. I'm still in the state though.
Right.
Or if I have a driver's license, if someone international, army vet, a military person can mail in their vote, right. Why can't I just do that or just vote from anywhere? But I'm still me.
Right. That's another thing. Why can't we get ballots in the mail and
they vote ahead of time? So it's like certain things about the process, to me, just seems like, do they want our vote? That's the question I have. It's like, going back to your question of, voice of the people. To me, it's an illusion of the voice of the people.
Oh, big time.
You know what I'm saying? They like, yeah, you can vote. But the electoral college is,
the real determining factor.
You know what I mean? So it's like, because like you said, Hillary won the popular vote. Al Gore won the popular vote. But those are two instances where we were told, thank you, we'll take your vote into consideration. But we're going this way.
Right, so you can't even say that we were given what the fuck do they call those? A participation trophy.
Right. No.
You can't even say that?
Well, we did. They say she won the popular vote.
Yeah. Oh, okay, well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the people spoke.
Oh, thanks for showing up.
Right. You know what I'm saying? CNN reminds us these people won the popular vote.
Fake news.
However, that means nothing at the end of the day.
That's another thing.
And it discourages people.
That's another thing too, that I've heard too, because especially with recent news of them wanting to move the US embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, and saying Jerusalem is the capital of Israel or whatever. Every time Trump goes out there and says fake news, he discredits everybody that's out there that's a reporter, investigative reporter, whatever, that's Channel 7, Channel ABC, whatever. Outside of this country, the only news Americans can get about America is CNN. So for him to be out there and discredit CNN all the time, it hurts us outside of this country.
Again, to me, seems very purposeful.
Right. Now, should he alone be impeached for basically running our First Amendment through the mud? Because, I mean, you're supposed to be the President of the United States, a man that's supposed to not only uphold the Constitution, but stand by it.
Correct.
And by you going out there and saying, oh, CNN is fake news, the New York Times is fake news, you out there saying that maybe you're a fake president. And your only deflection from the fact that you can't do your job because you don't know what you're doing is by saying everybody else is fake.
Correct. It makes us as a country look bad overall.
It really does.
Because at the end of the day, I don't know, and I haven't really been to many countries or even lived in them, you know, so I don't know if they fully know our election process. I don't know if they're aware that Hillary won the popular vote, but the electoral college, because I don't even understand the electoral college.
Right.
So how can we expect another country to understand it? So in their mind, they're saying, we elected him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we're a laughingstock.
Big time.
Because everything that he does at fault and incorrectly and we are mad. You know, there are people that are angry with it and don't like him and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, and that's why I tell people be like, oh, not my president. And unfortunately, he is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we, again, our hands are tied. We can't impeach him. We don't have the impeachment power.
No, that comes from Congress.
Right. So, again, going back to your original question, the people, what power do we have?
Nothing.
Are we a democracy or a republic?
Technically, we're a republic.
You know?
It's in our national anthem.
Yeah.
To the republic for which it stands. And a lot of people don't realize that
exactly.
either.
The national anthem, which they get mad if we don't stand for, which is, again, going back to the First Amendment and them shitting on it.
They don't even understand that.
A song written many years ago, but however...
holds a lot of truth today.
Yeah. So it's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of depth to it that, you know, I don't have all the answers to go into, but, you know, you know, hopefully other people have questions as well. But listen, the whole point of me doing this was to open the conversation.
Get it going.
I mean, Colin Kaepernick, you know, he a lot of people question his you know, authenticity, but I think at this point he's kind of shown what he's about.
Yeah.
He stood by, you know, his points, his purpose. He's put his money where his mouth is, and it's kind of getting swept under the rug because, especially with the NFL and Trump and all that stuff, it's become more about the kneeling and the anthem and so on. But it's like he's kind of told you, I'm doing this.
But how much of it has really been swept under the rug, being that he did get, what was it, Sports Illustrated?
Yeah.
What is it? He got, what, the Citizen
Right.
of the Year award, and he just got the Muhammad Ali ESPN award, the Legacy Award.
Yeah.
So what he started hasn't gone unnoticed.
True.
Has been taken out of context from people that want to divert everybody's eyes away from the truth. Yes, undoubtedly, I believe that.
Yeah, definitely.
Those that say, "Oh, he's against the flag," he's against the, you know, the veterans. He doesn't, you know, if he's unhappy with the way things are, he should leave the country. No, why?
Right.
Whenever a certain group is unhappy with something in this country, it seems like it's okay for them to take the public opinion, grab their tiki torches, and, you know, voice their opinion.
Correct.
But the minute the other side of the fence is unhappy and they want to voice their opinion, and they're using any platform imaginable to get their voice heard, they're against what's supposed to be standing as right.
And notice, you know, who it usually is that are told you can't complain, or what are you complaining about?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Notice who it usually ends up being, where a lot of other people get a turnaround or some sort of a change for what they, cry about.
And it's sad that it's 2017 and that's still going on.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to say, oh, the future this, the future that, but we're still living in the past. We refuse to let certain things go, and it's like, why?
Mm-hmm.
I've had several conversations with people. As a matter of fact, Jared is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, me personally, I've said I don't see race as an issue.
Mm-hmm.
I was born and raised in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I'm multiracial.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody I know, I've grown up with, is multiracial.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are some people that are 100% this or 100% that,
Right.
but for the most part, everybody I know
Mm-hmm.
has a history from either outside this country or from within this country.
Correct.
So, for me, I've never seen color, I've never seen language. All right, language may be a barrier in the beginning, but once you figure out how to communicate, it's no longer an issue.
Correct.
The thing is, when are we going to learn to communicate?
Mm-hmm. Well, the part of communication, the three elements of it, the words, music, dance. Listening is another big important part of communication. A lot of times, people don't listen to understand, they listen to reply. And that's a big problem. Or they listen to chunks and bits and pieces of one's argument to discredit overall. For example, I think it was on I think it was like Fox News or something like that, and one of the news reporters on there was talking about how Jay-Z and Kendrick Lamar are nominated for like a couple of Grammys, and there's no white males up for the I guess album of the year category, and she chose to quote like 3 or 4 lines specifically from their songs, not taking into the whole body of work of the album of what 444 was about and what Damn was about. She focused specifically on like obviously negative type lines,
right,
to discredit the artwork. And it's funny because that's what they'll do. No, we know she's not listening to their albums. We know that. But someone fed her, hey, say this.
But you know what? That also comes from the same group that had an issue a few years ago when the Academy Awards, the Oscars, was rather pale.
Mm-hmm. So again, one side gets to complain, another side doesn't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you can't deny, and again, rap music right now is the most popular genre.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with what is the most popularized aspects of the genre. A lot of the mumble rap, quote unquote, is what's pushed to the forefront. But we still have the Kendricks, the Jays, the Coles, the certain people that we can proudly represent. But if we are the most streamed, most played genre, it makes sense that we would dominate awards.
Right.
That seems to go hand in hand. So,
Now, to go back on you saying how hip hop is the most streamed, most widely listened to genre of music out there, do you think that a lot of that mumble rap and that nonsense type of rap, and not guys like Kendrick, J. Cole, Chance, are being pushed because they want the listening group, the younger kids that are primarily listening to it, not necessarily our age, like the generation, coming up behind us, listening to it. They want them like dumbed down, so that's why they're pushing like this kind of mumble nonsense rap.
It's hard to say that it's not, when Future admittedly said, I just make music, about the drug culture just because it sells, or just because, So he's kind of saying I only do it because that's what's popular. I really don't do it myself or really push it like that myself. But hey, that's what it is. That's what it is. And we spoke on this also the last episode where a lot of the kids now are just following trends of what's popular. You know, colorful hair, talking about Xanax, Molly's, Percocets, and so on. Lean. It's just the thing now, and you know, a lot of them are being used because the thing is they're popular. They're SoundCloud popular. They're social media popular. They're doing dumb stuff. Little Uzi was staple gun to his head. They do dumb stuff, but it's not equaling sales.
He put a staple gun to his head?
Yeah, he stapled his head, yeah. But it doesn't equate to sales. At the end of the day,
jackass shit.
Jay-Z, J. Cole, Kendrick, Chance are still getting, because they're putting together an album, a complete body of work, where a lot of these guys are one-hit wonders with popularity. So we grew up in an era where one-hit wonder was one and done. You know, Geraldo, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
CNC Music Factory, they were one and done.
Yep.
There was no social media. These guys make one song and they can ride that song because now they're social media famous. But it doesn't equate to, and the labels know that. The labels just signed to Cash Me Outside Girl because she's already been social media famous. So all they need is one song to pop off. They're gonna make money off of that.
That's Cash Me Outside. Like,
yeah. So the label can spend.
What is she gonna sing?
The label can focus on a Jay-Z. Well, Jay-Z owns his own label, but they can either put a lot of money into one person and make a whole album, or they can just get a bunch of these write-offs of silly people that are young and don't know no better, and they make a lot more money off of them.
And the sad part is that these young cats think they made it because their song is on the radio, not realizing that you just made a rack, but at the same token, that was in advance.
Mm-hmm. You owe it back.
If you don't pay that back, guess what? You're gonna be in court for the rest of your life until that's paid back.
Yep. So that's why they focus on the younger guys. You notice the top artists are all in their 30s and up, except for Chance. Chance is like 20 something. He's young, but he's wise beyond his years.
Right.
But Cole, I think Kendrick just turned 30. Cole's like 32, 33. Jay-Z's in his 40s. You know, Drake is 30 something. So these guys that are in their 30s, they have a little more business acumen, a little bit more business savviness to them than these young 19, 20-year-olds.
They've been in the game a while now. They know.
Yeah. And they try to explain it to the younger guys. They don't want to listen. So that's where it's at. So there's a divide. So there's a lot of division in the world, in our country, and our culture.
So would you say that Jay coming out with 444 was not so much for him to try to be like, you know, to put like an apology or whatever, a different spin on Lemonade or whatever the case is, as more as to like maybe sparking and enlightening?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think
amongst the people.
I think for him personally, it was just him getting things off his chest. A lot of people focused on the Lemonade side of it and his apology. Some people focused on talking about the money phone and so on, but I think it was just him himself clearing his conscience. The first song on 444 is Kill Jay-Z. He's killing his ego right out the gate. The very first song you hear, he's killing his ego. So he's getting that out the way. Then it's the story of OJ. He's talking about now black people in general when they make it like he has. He's worth $700 million, but he's still a nigger.
Right.
So he's giving you a story from jump. It's kind of deeper than what people are just taking it for. He's killed his ego, and now he's already making it a personal album. Because ego aside, let me tell you what's going on in my life.
Okay.
It pertains to a lot of avenues. What's going on? I cheated on my wife. What's going on? I am responsible for a culture of people doing certain things. I'm responsible for a genre of music that kind of took what I did back in the days. We can't forget, the Big Pimpin' video where they're pouring champagne on the girls and is that your chick? And when him and Nas was beefing, he talk about Skeeted on the baby seat.
Oh.
So he's done some things that he's letting you know, like, hey, I did that. You know, but I'm 40-something-year-old now with 3 kids.
Yeah. You know,
So
I've lived my life, I've grown, I've made mistakes, and, you know, you're going to also, but, you know, if you listen to what I'm telling you, you might make less of those mistakes.
Right. So right out the gate, kills his ego, let you know who he is. He's telling you, you know, nobody wins when the family feuds. We got to come together.
Definitely.
You know, he's giving you a lot of pieces of life. And we got somebody like 50 Cent that just says, nobody want to hear that. Another 30-something-year-old, 40-year-old rapper who should be of that same mindset. However, he's thinking, and he's always been a very selfish person. I'm about myself. So I'm going to be anti that because the young kids are spending some money on this. So let me cater to them. Watch power.
Right, because he's going to do what he's got to do to make his pocket.
Yeah. So he's not going to go that route because obviously 444 and stuff sold, but it's like I'm not trying to do that. But maybe he need to kill his ego. Maybe he need to kill 50 Cent. But he's not ready to do that yet.
Right.
People come to that maturation period at different stages and at different ages. There's no number of when, you know, you wake up saying, I'm mature now. Sometimes you got to go through some things. Jay almost lost Beyonce.
Right.
He's like, I'm bugging.
Right. They say, like, even when, you know, like drug addicts or alcoholics or, you know, people that are just addicts in period, when they reach the lowest of the low, they have that moment of clarity.
Right.
Where
that
they
epiphany that we can.
Right. That this moment where it's like, oh shit, like I fucked up. This is what I got to do to get back on the right path. And it, you know, they work really hard to try to correct that.
Right.
And while they're trying to correct themselves and atone for their past sins, they're trying to bring as many people with them on their come up as possible.
Right.
Because they realize that the only real way to win is if we all win.
Nobody wins when the family feuds.
Right.
So maybe that awakening was Solange hitting him in the elevator. And at that point, maybe it wasn't even just her hitting him in the elevator. Maybe it was people seeing it.
Right.
A lot of, again, social media created a more availability to inside people's lives. So that going viral, you know, one of the lines on 444 is Jay talking about skipping leg day because people used to joke about his legs. There's like a lot of memes of him and stuff. So he joked on himself. And so again, he killed his ego because he's like, listen, I'm me. But would you rather be old rich me or young new you? You know what I'm saying? So he's putting it out there. Yeah, you can clown on me all you want.
But I'm Jay-Z. I'm you know,
you know,
I can hop on a jet anytime I want, go on vacation for a while, and be alright.
Right. So he had to because as a prideful person, he's a Sagittarius like I am, and we're private. So again, at that point, he was at a point where he's just like, you know what, let it out there. He killed his ego because it was known. People heard Lemonade and they're like, oh, he cheated. So it's out there.
Right.
And you know, but he said in an interview that him and Beyonce were working on their albums at the same time. Hers was just done first or whatever, what have you. So it put it out there. Again, we can take that as a grain of salt. To me, it was just a great marketing plan for both of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But whatever. Maybe it just worked out that way organically. We don't know. However, you know, they told their story on their terms. It wasn't TMZ. It wasn't all the gossip blogs or what have you. They told their story. We were unaware. We didn't know why Solange was beating him up in the elevator. So we still don't know who Becky with the good hair is. Because they only tell what they want us to know.
So now with that being said, them telling their stories on their own terms, do you think we would be better off as society, period, if there wasn't a social media to run to? If people were given the opportunity to tell their side of the story, like say, like when Bill Cosby was being accused, whatever, or Harvey Weinstein's, or you know, whoever in government is being accused of talking to Russia, or whatever. If these people were given a chance to just tell their side of the story, and then get their point across, and then let the jury decide from there.
Mm-hmm. Possibly. I mean, social media now makes everything fast. Twitter refreshes every second. Everyone's in a rush to post something. So we used to watch the Anchorman. The nightly news used to be our source of information. Now, everyone can be the news. And it doesn't mean everybody's going to get the story right or have the full story. It's going to be, like I said, the video went out of Solange hitting Jay in the elevator. We didn't know what happened. We all drew a conclusion already. Right out the gate. Oh, Solange is hitting him. Jay did something. Cheated. We just went right with it. We don't know what it was. We had an answer already. We're commenting. We're reposting. We're doing so. It's spreading.
Public opinion was formed.
Yeah, and this is before the news or anybody could gather the information. There's no investigators. There's no we used to get the news from every night at 5, 7, 10, 11. We used to get the interview from Barbara Walters every Friday night. Mm-hmm. So there was a specific time when you got the news. Now, something happened. Oh, word? Right to your phone. It's happening in front of you. You use your phone.
You're recording it.
You know what I'm saying? So before, when you got jumped, you got beat up, it was a local story. Now it's World Star.
Yeah.
So Solange beating Jay wasn't a myth. We saw it. It's
not just a, right, like you said, a rumor, it's fact.
Right, because we see her hitting him. So things like that used to go swept under the rug before. There's a rumor when Jay stabbed Un. We didn't really know why, how, whatever. It was until he actually said it. We were like, yeah. Or he got arrested for it, what have you. But we hadn't seen it. This day and age, we would have saw it. Because somebody be like, yo, that's Jay-Z. It'd have been on. So, social media.
Everybody's got a smartphone now. So it's
and I can't blame social media specifically. We are social media. So, it's just like money. Same thing they say, money doesn't change people. Money reveals who you are.
Right.
Social media reveals who we are. Because all it is really our opinions being brought to a broader stage. Just like I said, we've had conversations. You've had conversations with Jared. We've had conversations before. Now we have a platform or an ability to share it now. Yeah. And that's what social media really does. We're all given the same opportunity. It's what we use it for.
It's what we do with that opportunity.
Yeah. So some people just crack jokes about it. Some people want to be serious. Some people want to lie. Some people, it's whatever. But the opportunity is there. The ability, we have the same wires and ones and zeros to create the internet. Whatever. It's what we do with it, and that's where we're at with social media. So it's a scary thing, because our president was, popular from tweets and things. LeVar Ball made his kids famous from having a platform. They have a show on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? So we're at a point where popularity, and that was episode 3, popularity is, becoming more important than talent.
Right. It's like life has become social media. People are doing things now, not to say I did it, I achieved. They're doing it for likes.
Right. Correct.
Everything is done for likes.
Yeah. Have you ever watched Black Mirror?
No, I've heard of it, but I never got it.
It's kind of like a modernized Twilight Zone.
Okay.
And there's an episode on it. Every episode is separate, so you don't have to watch it like in order. It's like one storyteller, but they do kind of link. But it's futuristic what ifs.
Okay.
And one of the episodes is kind of like a 5-star rating system of likes is the new credit. And this girl's like a 3.5 stars or whatever, but she's trying to get a new apartment to move out of she lives with her brother who's like a 2-star. So she wants to move out, to move to the place where she want to live at, because she wants to be uppity. You got to have a 4-star rating or something like that. So she lives her life trying to get these likes. she's trying to get these stars. She's, you know, phony being. So it's kind of like, I don't want to go too in depth with it, but the whole series of Black Mirror is kind of eye opening to where we're at now. But that episode in particular speaks to what you're saying about what we do for likes and how we, you know, credit it. We make likes mean something more than what it is. And I was just talking about it earlier with Big John, who was on episode 1, about,
what up, John?
You know, females today on Instagram are models. A lot of them are getting paid from doing cam work. A lot of them have camera sites. A lot of them model Fashion Nova jeans. I shouldn't say the name because that's a little plug, but. You know, so granted, it's work. So they're doing honest work. I can't knock the hustle. You know what I'm saying? But it's like it's another opportunity where models used to be Victoria's Secret or the runway in France, in Paris. Now you can be a model from your house.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's what you do with it. A lot of girls are just on there, you know, selling themselves for. It's what you want to do. It's what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? But the opportunities are there. It's all what we use it for. But as always, the conversation continues. A 2021 vision across all social media, because we're there too. Feel free to leave your comments, whether you agree or disagree. We just opening the conversation up. Also, if you want to be on the show, like I said, send me an email to a 2021 vision.
Slide in that DM.
Hey, I'm with that. But you can send me an email at 2021vision@outlook.com. Danny, thank you for coming through.
Oh, no doubt.
You know, and you will be back. I'm gonna have you on there, you know, some more.
No doubt.
We'll be back again next week for another episode. Words, music, dance. We out here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the show, hit the like button. Share it. Tell your friends about it. Let them know what's going on. Also, hit subscribe and the bell to be notified when new content is loaded, because there's much, much more to come.